Welcome back to another reaction stream for Game Week 15. I'm going to talk about everything that happened in Game Week 14, and we had some cracking games today, so many goals, and there is so much to discuss. Once again, I've been burned by selling Ollie Watkins, and that's a difference of 9 points at least. Factor in that I sold Diaby instead of Bowen, that's another 2 points I could have gained, but maybe I'm looking a bit too much into it. But it is a red arrow, and oddly enough, the Haaland yellow card towards the end for arguing against the stupid decision by the referee actually resulted in my rank going up by 11,000 places, so not too bad from that standpoint. But yeah, I think those that Captain Haaland would feel rightfully aggrieved. I had a similar situation in UCL Fantasy where I bought a 4 million defender, Patrick, and he complained about a nonsense decision by the referee. He gave a penalty in the last minute. In the end, the penalty was overturned, but the yellow card stood. I have no idea what Simon Hooper was doing there at the end, but if you actually know the meme of Arteta doing that rolling sign, it's directed at that same referee, so he's got a history. Let's just put it that way. FPL Marius says, hi Dylan, small red arrow, down to 1.2 million, not bad week. My transfers, Diaby to Palmer and Alvarez to Nunez, not the best moves, but good long term. Yeah, I still prefer having Darwin over Alvarez over the next two, but as some people in the chat are already saying, there is a chance of Darwin being benched midweek, and if I get that sort of information before the deadline, I might just buy Ollie Watkins back shamelessly. So there's a lot to discuss there, of course. My team for Game Week 15, what to do and which free defenders to start. One free transfer. Free defenders to start, I'd probably go for the double up in Arsenal defence and Tsimikas, which you've done yourself. I think starting Lascelles isn't too bad, but Everton at home, I mean, to be fair, they haven't been great at home this season. But yeah, I think Newcastle, if you look at their record at home, I think it's the best of any team. And of course, they have played more games than others, but their away record is 15th in the Premier League. So I'm actually not a big fan of starting Newcastle defenders away from home. So I think you've pretty much got it spot on with your backline. As for what should you do, well, in the weeks to come, whether it's now or in a few weeks' time, you probably bring Watkins in for Darwin Nunez. I think that is definitely the play. Apart from that, I think everything else is fine. I would ideally improve the goalkeeper situation. What you could do this week, Morris, and I'm going to discuss this in my team selection video, is Turner to Dubravka. That could be a great move for you. And I know it's not ideal to have two defensive double-ups, but I think it could really work. Welcome, Adam. All good. What about you? 63 points and up to 700k. Good stuff. For me, unfortunately, I was not enough, basically. I'm at 57 points. I needed around your points, 62, 63, to get a green arrow. And basically selling Watkins cemented a red one for me. But good to hear that you got something good. My rank up to 200k, or my rank up by 200k. Either way, good. I'm fuming at Simon Hooper. Trust me, he's an awful referee. I'm struggling to pick out any good ones. There's one recently that, hasn't been too bad, but I've only seen him in 2 matches. 77 points, under 300,000 rank. Good stuff. I'm mixed on the Simon Hooper decision. I'm a Spurs fan, but then Haaland got a yellow card and I captained him, so I lost points. Yeah. I think for those that didn't captain Haaland, despite owning him, I think you'd be quite happy with the Haaland yellow card because, yeah, you actually gain something from that decision. But yeah, in your situation, I can understand the kind of conflict going on. The song name is called Make Me Feel by Lautaro. He's a cousin of mine. I think there is a link in the description below, but I can put one in the live chat if there isn't one. Saka, Salah or Haaland for Game Week 15 captain. Same as before, Salah or Haaland for me. And also Luton Town looks great as a fixture for Arsenal, but I think it's going to be quite low scoring when I'm looking at it. Arsenal have struggled to really, open the floodgates in the Premier League. And you also look at Luton Town in home matches. They held Liverpool to a 1-1 draw there. Spurs barely beat them, although they were down to 10 men. So, yeah, I wouldn't go for Saka this week. I think he's 3rd or 4th in the captaincy list, but I'd probably put Salah first and Haaland. Did I say Haaland again? I don't know why I keep doing that. Haaland second. Transferring out Watkins really backfired. Yep, it's not the first time for me this season. I think selling him both times has cost me 30, 40 points overall. So, yeah, you can tell how much I like him as an FPL asset. Why was Doku subbed off at 50 minutes? Yeah, knock, as Zaid says. Do you think Darwin starts versus Sheffield? I hope so, but to be honest, with the amount of games coming up, you've basically got 3 in 1 week. A benching is probably going to happen, and I think the Sheffield game makes sense. Even off the bench, he can do something, but it's not looking good, I think, for those that bought Darwin. If he was subbed off earlier today, around 60, 70 minutes, then I would have been quite confident of him starting against Sheffield United. But now, I don't know. I'm honestly not so sure there. Yeah, I think that is possible there. Darwin being benched. I hope not. Darwin Bin, yeah. I bought him once last season. He did really well for me, but yeah, I kind of see people's reactions to Darwin from afar. And look, this season he's been quite good, but it's just he gets into so many good positions, and even if you don't have Darwin Nunez, you'd be quite fearful. But yeah, today so frustrating for those that bought him, especially if you sold Ollie Watkins like myself. And yeah, it was just a disaster from start to finish. I think the only saving grace is that Watkins now has Man City and Arsenal back to back, but Man City will be without Rodri, and they've lost every game so far this season without the Spaniard. Evening London W4. Darwin was terrible today. Yeah, two big chances missed. The crossbar, you could say, is a bit unlucky. I think it was a right foot shot. He's obviously strong on his left, but still very, very disappointing. 66 points, a bit gutted with the defence, though. 16 points on the bench. Yeah, 66 points, though, is pretty good, and it's probably a green arrow anyway. I expected much more from Salah. To be fair, I think he's also very unlucky. He should have scored himself. He missed an open goal, but he was robbed of 2 assists at the very least, possibly even 3. Yeah, I actually don't know how many points Son got. I can double check that for you. So it says Son 10 points. Andrew says 8. Okay, I'll have to double check that. He probably got an assist then, didn't he, as well? So I'm going to have to... Yeah, I'm going to have to check. You know what? We're going to use livefpl.net, which is where all the updated numbers are coming from. And according to this, yeah, Son is... he got 10 points as well. So Son... Watkins, and the other one who hauled, well, yeah, I mean, Trippier as well. Those 3 is the reason why my rank has gone down, and selling Watkins, like I keep on saying, has proven to be a disastrous decision yet again. Pretty sure he played the full 90, and Sheffield was on Wednesday. Exactly that. So, yeah, I'm not so sure. Condolences to all those who sold Son and Watkins. I mean, with Son, I talked about him this week. He's a hold for me. And with Watkins, he also was. But I think once the situation came out about him being 50-50 and me having Bowen and Watkins, I just went for the wrong one, as usual. So it is what it is. I'm going back to my team now. In a few minutes, probably, I'll go through some different screens. But let's go for some different questions first. Darwin Noodles had a couple of good chances, plus Watkins got 9, possible 12. He got 11 overall, Ollie Watkins. He got 2 bonus points. Thankfully, not the full 3, but still 11. That's enough damage already. Yeah, so Son got 10 points, including bonus, and Watkins got 11, just to clarify to anyone who's unsure. 77,000 red arrow, not bad. Yeah, it's not ideal. My red arrow was by 100,000 places. I'll talk about this in the team selection. The plan is, straight after this reaction stream, is to record the team selection and then upload that tomorrow, because we've got a quick turnaround, and then a deadline stream on Tuesday. And then hopefully after that, a bit more time to put some more content out, such as the best wildcard team and transfer tips. But if not, you will still get some content either way, team selections and deadline streams. Guy, I transferred out some. Yeah, look, he's got a great record against City, but it's understandable. I still would have sold him, I think, to Saka, Mbumo and Salah. And I still think going to one of those 3 makes sense long term. But Son, look, he is just so clinical. And he scored an own goal today and still got a 10 points. It's absolutely insane. He was involved in 3 goals, which is absolutely mental. 67 points good. Of course it is. Unless you're in a really high rank and 67 points means a red arrow, it's still pretty decent, all things considered. 71 points, stuck to my guns with Watkins and Son. Yeah, good stuff. I think those that kept Watkins would be laughing. If I kept him, it would have been a pretty good week for me, actually. It would have been a green arrow. I'd probably be around 300,000, 400,000, so it is what it is. I got 69 points as Happy Human. Good stuff. Another 69 pointer, up to 12k. Taylor first on the bench hurts, though. Oh, yeah, if Taylor came on for you, you could have been laughing, really. But still a good rank and a rank rise. How do you check the updated rank? livefpl.net. Now, it won't be... So once the FPL website updates, it'll be a little bit different, the rank, but it's pretty much very close. It's within, the 100 of your final rank. It's very reliable, and you can also check effective ownership and seeing how different players impact your rank both negatively and positively. 6 goals, and Erling had no shot on target. Took out Watkins for Darwin and kept faith with Son. Small green arrow. Yeah, I think that was the kind of game changer for you, keeping Son. But look, with Haaland, he's still got 2 assists. I know it's not ideal, but that's better than Salah by 2 points, despite the yellow card at the end. Got 71 points. Only Palmer and Raya did not return. Yeah, and you're a bit unlucky with the Palmer one because he picked up a knock during training yesterday. And as for David Raya, it would have been a clean sheet, but Zinchenko gifted Wolves a goal. Arsenal really should have won that game by 3 or 4. minimum. It should have been a clean sheet too, but yeah, hopefully that's a lesson there for the Gunners. Should we hold on to Watkins? Well, I think at this stage you probably do because, you know, I know it's Man City and Arsenal next, but they're both home games. He's going to return in one of them, in my opinion, especially a City side without Rodri. You've seen how they've done this season without him. And Watkins is so reliable. So honestly, don't be surprised if I buy him back in. If I'm seeing, you know, rumours of Darwin being benched, I might just buy him myself. Even if it means a -4, buying a goalkeeper and also buying Watkins back, I might just do it and take the plunge. At the moment, 67 points, -8, so 59 points final. Still pretty good. 73 says daily dose. So I'm guessing a lot of you did have Watkins, so fair play to those of you who kept him. Start Trippier or Mitchell next game week. I would go for Mitchell, actually. Now, it seems crazy to bench Trippier, and you can still start him, to be honest. He's so good. But if you actually look at his returns, I think pretty much all of them, bar one, have come at home. The only away haul for him was against Sheffield United, and in every other away game he has blanked. So I would consider that, and I think Everton will score. Now, oddly enough, I might still buy Dubravka myself anyway, but that's kind of a long-term ploy. And also, I'm expecting West Ham to concede a few goals to Tottenham Hotspur, and I don't want to play Areola at all in Game Week 15. Best forward for 5.5 million and below is probably Semenyo and Archer, and they're mainly facilitators and enablers. I'm not really a big fan. Also, Joao Pedro, to be fair, he's going to tick along nicely, but you're also going to get a lot of benchings as well. So if you want to actually start this player, then it'd be Joao Pedro first, then probably Semenyo, then Archer. Who's the best defender under 5 million? Still Tsimikas for me right now. It's between him and Gabriel, and yeah, I think those two are absolutely fine. Lascelles, so long as Botman is out as well, is a good choice. I got 71 points and just swapped Palmer for Gordon for Game Week 15. That's good stuff. The thing with Palmer, though, is he will come back into the side. He's got great long-term fixtures, so you might want him back. But yeah, Gordon is looking so good. Once again, though, he's returning every home game so far this season, and away from home, I think his only return was against Sheffield United. He might have gotten another one, but most of his returns are at home. Newcastle have a lot of away games coming up. 74 points, says Dutta. 68 points with Salah captain. Still, though, 68 points, Green Arrow. You've got to take it. That's still pretty good. Gambled on captain and Boomer would say that is okay. Well, considering you're so underwhelming, getting that late assist just before being subbed off, Haaland being booked, not scoring in that game, Salah somehow not getting double-digit return. I mean, yeah, you probably got away with one, but that's good. Either way, not much difference, I think, once again, between Mbumo, Saka, Salah, Haaland, all the top captaincy options of the week. 80 points up to 76k rank. Good stuff. Hey, Dylan, I'm planning on selling Bowen and Watkins to buy Haaland and a midfielder below 6.3 million. Already have Gordon. I'd still prefer Palmer. Wang Yi-chan would be next. I wouldn't really go for Brownhill, to be honest. You know, I know he scored in the last game. It was a massive result there for Burnley, but I wouldn't buy Brownhill in the hopes of starting him most weeks. 63 all out, good stuff. Green Arrow from 130k to 100k, sitting well still with a wild card in the pocket for 19. I think that's a massive advantage to navigate blank game week 18, so I do like that. 81, that's the highest I've seen today. Sold Son and Watkins to get Haaland, what a loss. Yeah, look, you can understand that though, and City's fixtures are easing up. You don't want to go about Haaland in fixtures like Luton Town, you know, all these plum fixtures coming up. But yeah, selling Son and Watkins does sting. This is a problem, you know, when people were talking to me yesterday, they were saying, should I sell Trippier, Son and Watkins to get Haaland? And I'm like, well, it might work this week, but you're selling free quality assets, so it can always go wrong. And look, with Watkins, I understand why people sold him. I sold him myself after all, but yeah, I think you are a bit unlucky there. Hi, Dylan. Martinez to Sanchez. I actually put a poll out on my YouTube channel. We might as well go for it now. So if you do subscribe, you will basically be notified whenever I put a poll out. I'll refresh it just to get even more votes in, because this was... yeah, so we've now got over 500 votes, and I basically put the update that Eddie Howe provided on Nick Pope, and he said it looks bad, it looks like a dislocation of his shoulder, which he has done before. And I asked the question, will you be going for Dubravka, who rotates well with Areola, or go for another goalkeeper? And Dubravka is winning the vote with 60%. Raya is second with 23%, Sanchez is third with 10%, and Kelleher is last with 7%. He's definitely the shortest term option there, and the way Liverpool defended today, I definitely would want to avoid Kelleher. It's only Tsimikas or Trent to cover that defence right now, and yeah, for me, it's between Dubravka and Raya if you want a goalkeeper. I think if Nick Pope is out long term, Dubravka's probably your best bet. And it's also a really good way of covering Trippier if you've got Lascelles and Dubravka. So let's go through a few different screens. I'm still not fully 100%, but almost fully recovered. Like I said, after this stream is done, the plan is to record a team selection video talking about how I did in detail for Game Week 14, and then looking ahead to my transfer, I'm looking to use it for Game Week 15. So Wolves, Spurs, Fulham, Chelsea and Man United are in the top 5 of the FDR. If we look at the bottom, we've got Brentford, Man City, Everton, Sheffield United and Burnley. Then you've got a few teams like Liverpool and Arsenal in mid-table. In terms of predicted points next week, Haaland is still top with 7.8. Salah is second, but I have to say Salah for me is probably the standout captaincy choice. He's going to start. It's very unlikely he'll be benched. And the way Sheffield United defended, well, not just this week, but all season, I think Liverpool could absolutely batter them 4 or 5-0. And I think Salah is a plum choice there. Son is third. Saka and Bruno Fernandes complete the top 5. Then we've got Darwin Núñez. Let's not even talk about him. Odegaard, Trent, Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus in the top 10. So a lot of Arsenal players are favoured, but I would say, as an Arsenal fan, I don't think Luton Town will be that easy. I would expect Arsenal to win, but I think it'll be a narrow victory there for the Gunners. So I'm not sure if I'd captain an Arsenal attacker. In terms of price changes, if we actually sort out by those about to go up in price, we've got Saka and Lascelles potentially going up tonight. And in terms of those going down, we've got Awani, Dunk, Jarrod Bowen, and Jensen's. Yeah, Jarrod Bowen, selling him and keeping him and selling Watkins was a disaster for me, but I'm not going to try and mention it again because it also will be talked about in the team selection. As for Draft Hound, they are recommending to do Anderson to Zinchenko and doubling up on the Arsenal defence. That's still a possibility for me, but if I actually look at this team, some of the things I want to do, Darwin to Watkins, just, get my receipt back, get my refund. Also to upgrade Turner to Raya or Dubravka. I'd also want to sell Anderson to a Zinchenko or a player like that. And I could still do it. Even Kieran Trippier is on the radar. Great long-term fixtures. And apart from that, I'm quite happy with my midfield. But Bowen, let's wait and see. Very disappointing today. He has a poor record against Crystal Palace and Tottenham. So I'm not expecting much in Game Week 15, but hopefully he can push on very soon. Otherwise, it could prove to be a disastrous decision, which could be influential in my final rank. I showed you the poll. So now let's show you a stats comparison, which isn't fully updated. I don't think it's got the numbers from Game Week 14, but Salah and Haaland, look at these numbers. They're absolutely fantastic for both of them. The XG obviously is in Haaland's favour, but Salah still has strong numbers. The expected assist, of course, is definitely going in the way of Salah. 16 big chances there for the Egyptian, 25 for the Norwegian, 13 big chances created though for Salah, and another 2 today, which will be added very soon. And Haaland with 3 big chances created. Key passes for both is good, but of course Salah is much better. And the shot volume, once again, absolutely insane. And Haaland leads most of these metrics, especially the goal-scoring ones. But Salah has the midfielder advantage, the better fixture. I think City could struggle a little bit against Aston Villa, who've got one of the best home records in the Premier League. And also, no Rodri. I think City could be in big trouble there. I'd still probably expect them to get something, a draw or a win. But maybe Haaland's ceiling will be lower. Then again, the way Villa play could play into City's hands. You saw a high-scoring game today, 3-3. It could be something similar. But that's 3 draws in a row now for Manchester City against Chelsea, Tottenham. And I think that's very, very surprising, to be honest. But that's the way it is in the Premier League. You have a little bit of an off day, you don't finish your chances, and there you go. At one stage, City absolutely battered Tottenham, and they should have been 4 or 5-1 up. But there you go, that's football, and you've got to be clinical sometimes. And in terms of FPL.team, I'll probably refer to this in my team selection. This is how my team would look like in Game Week 16. I could make a transfer of a defender and buy someone like Dalot in the defence and also buy Dubravka. I'll talk about this in the team selection. It'll make more sense once you see that video, but no transfer is set in stone. I'll probably leave it until the Tuesday, but yeah, Darwin, Jesus, unless he scores a brace against Sheffield United, I think this is just a disastrous decision, and I just can't wait to buy Watkins back. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I've done that yet again. I haven't learned from my mistake, but this is how I did in Game Week 14. 57 points overall. Areola blanking, no clean sheet once again, only one for the season. Tsimikas with a late assist for the winner. Saliba getting booked, I think it was a very harsh yellow card, and Zinchenko gifting away the clean sheet. Lascelles keeping a clean sheet, and solid stuff by him. Salah getting an assist, and he probably should have gotten another 2 goal contributions minimum. Saka with a goal, and also a bonus point. Gordon once again coming up clutch, especially in big games. He's now scored against Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, so he's got a great record against big teams, especially at home. Jeroboam blanking, Mbeumo with a late assist, but still quite underwhelming. Haaland with 2 assists and a yellow card. Darwin Nunez with just 2 big chances missed, and that's 2 points for him as well. As for the bench, very poor, but I don't really care about that. And that's pretty much it. I also captained Salah over Haaland, so I lost out on 2 points there. I'm not really too disappointed. My big mistake was selling Watkins, even Diaby you could argue, but there we go. Let's see what else we have. So sadly I did the Watkins transfer out for Nunez, so did I. I still think it can pay off, but it's very, very slim chances. I think really your main hope is that City and Arsenal are solid defensively at Villa Park and can limit Aston Villa and their chances. If that's the case, then I think it could turn out okay. But yeah, we need Darwin Nunez to score in the next 2, basically, if we end up keeping him. Dubravka plus Sanchez duo, yeah. I'll be honest, I do prefer... Well, Dubravka Areola rotates very well, but the problem of Areola is no clean sheets. So, yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. I think if money was no issue, it'd be Ryan Dubravka. I think that's a sensational goalkeeper pairing, and you're covering 2 of the best defences, but it also blocks some Arsenal and Newcastle spots anyway. So, yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. That's a good suggestion. Hi, Dylan. Best replacement for Martinelli. Still Mbeumo for me. I do like him. Brighton, I think, could be a great fixture for Brentford. And of course, look, if you can go to Saka, you know, he's a no-brainer for me. So, yeah, Saka, if funds are no issue. Apart from him, I'm probably saying Mbeumo still. Would you do Palmer to Saka and cash to Lascelles? Yes, I would. Now, a lot of people are selling Palmer now. I would reconsider because you might want him back very soon. But, yeah, Saka's an upgrade. Hi Dylan, for the past 4 game weeks, I put Martinelli as a differential pick. This is the problem with Martinelli. He's playing really well, but he's just not getting the goals or assists in the Champions League years, but not in the Premier League. So, if I'm being honest, I'd probably sell him. It's a question of timing because you could keep him for Luton, then sell him ahead of Villa. But then again, he did score in this fixture last season off the bench. So, very, very tricky to decide that, but I think ultimately is a sell. You look at his returns this season, simply not good enough, not enough goals or assists or FPL points. So yeah, I would sell Martinelli. And who would I go to? I think, yeah, Mbeumo still, Saka, as I mentioned earlier. I have 2 Aston Villa bad fixtures. Dean and Douglas Luiz is -4, a good plan to Gordon and Taylor. I said this with Taylor before. Good option in Game Week 14 against Sheffield. After that, no. So, yeah, you got 10 pointer now. Everyone's going to be clamouring to Taylor. My advice is don't do that. Gordon, absolutely fine. The issue with him, though, is that he's injured. He is a doubt anyway. Now, do I think it's going to be long-term? No. But it might be enough to put him on the bench in Game Week 15, and then he'll return in Game Week 16 against Tottenham. So, yeah, I think Gordon's an absolutely fine transfer, but wait for further updates. As for Taylor, no. What happened to Gordon? Yeah, he picked up an injury during the game. Eddie Howe talked about it after the game. Nketiah to any 6 million forward or Douglas Luiz to any 5.9 million midfielder? I think in terms of the biggest upgrade, it would be Douglas Luiz to a midfielder like Gordon, if he's fit, or Palmer. So that would be my preference. But with Nketiah, you can always downgrade him, and that could give you even more money to spend in the midfield or another position. Areola or Turner to Dubravka? Turner. At least Areola plays. He still rotates quite well with Dubravka. Turner's not going to get back into the team, it looks like. So, yeah, I think that's quite simple. Cash to Porro. Yeah, I think Pedro Porro with the set pieces, the attacking threat, he's a really good option still. The problem is Spurs can't defend. But, yeah, I don't mind that at all. I have Trippier and Lascelles. Doubling up on Newcastle defence was fire. Yeah, actually a few days ago, I could have done Bowen to Mbeumo, kept Watkins, and I could have bought Trippier. That would have been... If I did that, by the way, I'd be absolutely laughing. But there you go. I didn't do it. Fair play to you. And yeah, I think the Newcastle double or triple up was just clutch yesterday. That's the only reason why this week isn't a disaster for me personally. Yeah, Gordon has a slight knock, a slight issue. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen now. My guess is that he's going to be fine. He's going to be in the squad. Will he start or not? Let's wait and see. I'm still probably leaning towards yes. But yeah, I don't think it's anything long term. 80 points, Green Arrow, phew. That's good, mate. I wish I had 80 points, that's for sure. Captain Haaland this week, but I might go for Salah next week. Yeah, I think that's the play anyway. Aston Villa could be a fixture that suits Haaland and Man City, but with no Rodri, the fixture difficulty there of Aston Villa, very, very strong, very difficult to be at Villa Park. And you've also got Sheffield United. I just can't ignore that. And that's where the hopes for Darwin Núñez owners still lies. That Sheffield United fixture, if he can get a good amount of minutes, 60 plus, you could see Darwin hauling and you can see Salah going ballistic. No, Son's not essential. Is he a great asset? Yes. Is he one of the best midfielders in the game? Of course he is, but he's not essential. I'd still argue over this run, considering all the injuries and all the fixtures. I'd say Salah's the best midfielder. Then it's Saka, then it's probably Son, but he's not essential, no. Would you sell Darwin for Joao Pedro? No. I'd still rather have Darwin. I know Joao Pedro's been impressive recently, but yeah, the only striker I'd really sell Darwin to right now is probably going to be Watkins or Isak. I think with Darwin, you probably wait, see if you can get any early team news or maybe a feeling around Liverpool in the nose about if Darwin's going to start or not. If he does, you probably keep him because it's Sheffield United after all. What keeper change would you suggest? Fed up of Areola? Raya or Dubravka? I think they're the two best goalkeepers right now. That could be the best goalkeeper pairing, period. So yeah, Raya and Dubravka. Yeah, I think a goalkeeper transfer is worth it because Areola against Tottenham, I'm expecting Spurs to score 3 or 4 goals potentially. Yeah, possibly 2 because West Ham could sit tight. It's a London derby, could be a bit cagey at times, but I just don't see a clean sheet there for Areola. It's only 1 for all season, and he's very frustrating to say the least. I think Gordon's okay, but look, the official statement by Eddie Howe is that he's got a problem. It doesn't seem to be too serious, but let's wait and see. Bodro, James, or another Chelsea defender, please. I'll be honest, I'd go for Bodro. Because with James, he can't stay fit. Chelsea defenders, who do you go for? Badiashile, Colwill? I'm just not a big fan of these options. Maybe Colwill if he can nail down a spot, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of Chelsea. I mean, look at them defensively today. Conceding 2 goals to Brighton. I just can't really remember the last time a Chelsea defender was a valid option in FPL. Probably Chilwell at the beginning of this season. 57 and still red, yeah, I needed 63, and basically selling Watkins is the reason why I got a red arrow, so it is what it is. I sold Watkins, Son and Alvarez. Yeah, it's pretty much the worst case scenario for you, isn't it? Would you still buy Son? I mean, if I had the funds and an easy way to go to him, yes. If I could do Bowen to Son, I'd probably do it, to be fair, but it's all team dependent, to be honest. Diaby to Gordon for free, roll the other transfer. I mean, yeah, Gordon in for Diaby is a fantastic move, but just wait for more updates on Gordon because there is a chance he's benched or that he's fully rested against Everton. Is Gordon to Son an upgrade at this point? Well, Son will score more points than Gordon, but Gordon is much cheaper, and what could you do with that extra funds? Maybe go for Trippier at the back or Trent. You can go for Watkins up front. There's a few things you can do with that extra money. So it's not just about Gordon versus Son, otherwise Son wins all day long. It's about value and what you do with the extra money. Initially, I would love to have Livramento as a differential, but now Dubravka is a steal. Yeah, Dubravka is quite an easy pick at this point in time. Livramento, though, really impressive every time I see him, despite the penalty conceded to PSG, which was BS. He's been so impressive for me. Thoughts on Chris Wood? No, not for me. I said this last week, heading into this week, basically, and I'm saying it again. I don't trust him to haul consistently. He will get the odd return, of course he will, but I just don't trust him to really do it. I'd rather go elsewhere. Gordon, if fit, probably will do well against his old team. Yeah, I mean, you always have this thing about players playing against their former club and having a point to prove. Harry Wilson scoring against Liverpool today. And Gordon against Everton. Yeah, I think that could be quite a feisty affair if he does play. Dylan, what is wrong with Darwin? But that's Darwin to a T from last season. Whenever I talked about him last season, I said he's got great underlying numbers, he's got potential, raw talent, but he just doesn't finish consistently. And he's still got that this season. He's improved, but I still don't think he's the finished article just yet. Thank you, Wei-Seng, for moderating the chat, because that level of spamming is ridiculous, to be honest. Trippier, Lascelles, Gordon, Watkins, Son, and bringing Zinchenko in for cash paid off. Good stuff. Missed by captaining Salah, though. Only 2 points difference, though, between him and Haaland, so it's not really a big deal. Gameweek 15 top defenders. Arsenal defenders would be up there, so Gabriel, Saliba, Zinchenko. Take your pick from those two, or those three. I'd probably say Zinchenko and Gabriel. Yeah, Zinchenko and Saliba look the best, I'd say. Trippier is always a great shout, but then again, Newcastle away from home have been pretty poor. I'd also say Palace defenders such as Mitchell, Anderson, and Gay. I think those are the defences you really want to focus on this week. So yeah, I'd say Arsenal, Newcastle, and Palace defenders. So if I had to pick like a 3 or 4 man backline, I'd probably say Zinchenko, Trippier, Joachim Anderson, and Tsimikas. Yeah, I think that would be it. If you can afford Trent, even better. 81 points all out, 2.6 million to 1.5 million. Well, there you go. That's a really good recovery, and that's what I'm saying. You know, your team is good. You're just unlucky a few weeks ago. I'm impressed with your rank jump over the past few weeks. Your experience is showing. I appreciate that, but this week was a bit of a disaster. Maybe I'm overplaying a little bit. It's only 100,000 places down, but it's literally just that both transfers basically backfired because I sold... I sold Diaby to Mbeumo. To be fair, I did gain a point that way, but I could have sold Bowen instead. And then there's the Watkins to Darwin transfer. I'm more maybe frustrated at that decision because I've always been an advocate of holding Watkins even through this tough run. Son is more explosive than Saka, though. That's true, but Saka's more consistent. It goes both ways. And I also think with Son, there is going to be a little bit of a drop-off with no Maddison and other key players being out for Spurs. But as always, there's going to be this odd game where he goes ballistic. He did it today. It could be West Ham next week and Everton in blank Game Week 18. Hwang Yi-chan for next week. I like Hwang Yi-chan. Do I prefer him over Palmer? No. Over Gordon? Definitely not. But he is a good option, of course. No way people still trust Nunez. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really trust him, but I do have a bit more confidence compared to last season. I'm still back in that Sheffield United fixture to turn things around, but I might reconsider him. I'm not going to... Well, I haven't decided yet, let me put it that way, Joseph. But it is looking possible. It really is. I'm not in a really bad situation. Only Haaland and Mbeumo have a blank there. But I could really improve my team. Buy Son, buy Pedro Porro, go for triple Spurs against Everton. And I think I could really improve my team that week. So it is a possibility. I'm not discounting it. Right now, I'm probably 60-40 in favour of not playing it. But there is a good chance. Top 750k is still sick. I mean, I wouldn't say sick. It's okay considering my start of the season. I can't be too entitled, you could say. But it's just frustrating because I think a lot of times, or even for me, in my opinion, just literally Watkins, the times I sold him has resulted in losing out on 40 points, basically. So it could be a much different situation, and it is my fault. So yeah, it is still frustrating for me. It's not a bad position, but not great. Gordon injured. Yeah, he's got a flag right now. It's not a serious problem, but it could be enough to see him not start against Everton. We don't know that for sure, so just wait for more updates. Will we get one from Eddie Howe? Probably not. You just don't really trust these managers like Arteta, David Moyes, and Eddie Howe, but it is what it is. Yeah, I covered it at the beginning way, saying it's a ridiculous decision. If you remember the Arteta meme where he's kind of rolling his hands, taking the piss out of the referee, that was the same referee there, Simon Hooper. Dubravka, Son for Ariel and Bowen. I'm not against that. I really am not. Bowen is still a good choice, by the way, in this festive period, but is Son better? Yeah, if you can afford it and you're happy with the rest of your setup, go for it. Is Lascelles a good long-term pick? Yes, but it all depends on when Botman returns, and that seems to be a mystery right now. Captain Haaland, Game Week 15. He will be my vice, but I think the captain's going to be Salah. Hi Dylan, which team should you start to focus on due to fixture swings form? I'd say Spurs is definitely one to look at, Pedro Porro and Son being the standouts. I'd also look at Newcastle in general, so Gordon, Trippier, Lascelles, Dubravka, going for 2 of those at least. Arsenal players still, so Saliba and Saka are the 2 best options. City obviously have a fixture swing now, but who do you go for apart from Haaland? Maybe Kyle Walker. You could also possibly go for Foden, but you always know the risk there. Apart from that, yeah, I'd say Brentford as well, Pinnock and Mbeumo. So those are a lot of teams there for you. Chelsea, Palmer, Jackson's in decent form, but I wouldn't go there. So yeah, I'd say Palmer and maybe a defender or Sanchez in goal. So yeah, those are 5 teams there off the top of my head, and also the best options for those respective clubs as well. Best budget keeper for the next 2 games. For the next 2 games, Difficult to say. Probably Dubravka, but Everton away won't be easy. Dylan, thoughts on Lo Celso as a differential? He's been really impressive recently. I kept on saying, I don't understand why Lo Celso doesn't get more opportunities at Spurs. That's now back-to-back goals for him in the Premier League. He's so impressive for me. I think he's been Spurs' best player over the last week or so, and I think he needs to get more opportunities even when Maddison comes back. Should I sell Watkins to get Son back with a -4? I can see why you're doing that. And look, the risks of selling Watkins. The same would be if you sold Son to get Watkins. I probably wouldn't, because you'd want Watkins back by Game Week 18. I will buy him back eventually, either for Game Week 17 or 18. So, yeah. What happened with Trent Alexander-Arnold points? Well, he got them. He got 3 bonus points, I believe. He got the 2 goals, of course. I think he got 13 overall. Who is a good goalkeeper replacement for Areola? Very simple. We covered this already many times in the stream. Dubravka and David Raya. I also showed earlier in the stream a poll I put out, and you can see it on my YouTube channel. I think those are the 2 best. I'm also going to discuss it in my team selection, because that could be my transfer in this week. I know it's a bit weird to do that, because I've got Gordon flagged, no Watkins, no Son, no Trippier. I'd love to have all of them, but I might make a goalkeeper transfer. Alvarez was good today. Yeah, he was. I was expecting him to have a good game. I thought he'd score, but he was heavily involved in that great goal that City scored. I think it was the 2-1. But yeah, that's much better. More like Alvarez that we saw at the beginning of this season. Ben Mee quite sharp on set pieces. Yeah, that is true. I think those that went for Pinnock are probably a bit underwhelmed and a bit frustrated about that. Lo Celso's the perfect substitute for Maddison. Yeah, look, they are slightly different players, and Spurs need to tweak things tactically to really get the best out of Lo Celso, but I think he is just the best kind of natural replacement in their squad. You're right about that. But they are different players overall. I think Maddison in general is better for goals and assists, but Lo Celso, in my opinion, is better on the ball and also very, very creative. He just finds these passes out of nowhere, and I've loved watching him for Argentina and Rosario Central over the years. Best replacement for cash, 1.3 million in the bank. Still Saliba or Zinchenko for me if you don't have them. Now, with Zinchenko, it's interesting because if Ben White gets his place back and Tomiyasu's fit, I think most Arsenal fans would love to see Zinchenko on the bench, to be honest. But yeah, I think Saliba is still your best bet long term. Have 0 million in the bank. Should I replace Cash or keep him? So yeah, it depends on your other defenders. You've got Trippier, Tsimikas, Saliba, so you're fine. Now, the good thing about Cash is Game Week 18 against Sheffield United. I think that's a key plus about keeping him, but I think if you've got no other fires to put out, I'd still consider selling him. The problem is, who do you go to? Because Diogo Dalot, if you buy him now, I mean, do you really do that? Then you've also got Chelsea defenders. They're not looking that great. Even Man City defenders, not enough clean sheets. Kyle Walker's the best of a bad bunch. So I think in your team situation, I'd probably keep and just bench him. Start Lascelles or Anderson next game week. I'd favour Anderson. I'll talk about this in the team selection as well. Taylor first on my bench. I do feel for you there, definitely. That is the case for a lot of people this week, unfortunately. Is selling Alvarez a good idea? It's tricky now because he's showing a bit of good form now in the Champions League and Premier League, and he's got great long-term fixtures. There is the blank in Game Week 18, but I think overall, Alvarez to Watkins would be an upgrade. So it might seem strange, but yeah, if you can afford Watkins, I'd sell Alvarez to him. Apart from that, there is Darwin and Isak, but would you sell Alvarez now with those fixtures and now showing a bit of form and consistency? That's the tricky situation. So I think I'd only sell him to Watkins or Haaland. First goal for Trent was changed to an assist and made into a Leno own goal. Oh, right. Yes, that is true. When I actually saw the replay, the commentator mentioned that where it technically would be a Leno own goal. So very unfortunate for Leno. Also for those that with Trent Alexander-Arnold, but it is what it is. Abhishek says also Buonanotte goal and Alvarez assist. Yeah, it was a week for the Argentine. It was, yeah, Enzo Fernandez 2 goals versus Brighton. Apologies for the lost voice. It is frustrating. McAllister stunner versus Fulham. That was my favourite goal of the weekend. Probably one of my favourites of the season. I just love those sorts of volleys or long shots, really. Lo Celso stunner versus Man City. Oh, yeah, Dybala. I actually wasn't aware of that, of Dybala too. But yeah, in the Premier League, it was just goals and assists galore for the Argentines. Sell Foden. I'm not sure if I'd sell him. I mean, great long-term fixtures. It does seem like a strange time to do it. I would have probably sold him a few weeks ago, as I discussed in my trans tips videos, but yeah, really, it depends, because if you can go from Foden to Son or Saka, then yes, I would definitely do it. But apart from that, who'd you go to? Maybe Mbeumo. But really, apart from that, Gordon, Palmer, I mean, yeah, they're probably better options, but you could keep Foden, to be fair. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate it. I always leave a like on every video you post. You're doing a great job, man. Thank you very much. That is massively appreciated. A like goes a long way to helping out, and it costs nothing, so thank you very much. Oh, wow, Trent actually got 7 points. Yeah, I think those were Trent. Very, very unfortunate, to say the least. Jesus Christ. That guy with 0 million and cash should go to Romero if he's back now. Yeah, Romero is back. But do you trust Spurs defensively? And really, you'd want to go for Pedro Porro. He is the Spurs defender to go to. Time to sell Palace defenders? Not now. Sell them after this week. Now, Bournemouth have been good recently, and it wouldn't surprise me if Palace failed to keep a clean sheet, but you'd probably keep them for one more week. That would be my advice, then sell them. Should I buy Son or Trippier to replace Bowen or Cash? My personal favourite transfer would be Cash to Trippier, because Bowen, I think, is still a good option overall, and as good as Son is, I think the Trippier upgrade is better. Who to start? Trippier, Palmer and Alvarez? That's a great question and very tough to answer. I'd probably go for Trippier, but as I mentioned earlier in the stream, Newcastle are 15th in the league table away from home, so bear that in mind. I already have Watkins and Haaland. Yeah, I don't think you need to sell Alvarez. Yeah, exactly that, Timmy. It's a kind of differential for me because Man City have good long-term fixtures. Alvarez hasn't been good for me. Yeah, same here really. He's been quite average, and I also bought him to sell Watkins a few months ago. But yeah, hey Dylan, get some water right quick. Yeah, don't worry, I am drinking. It's just I'm ill. That's why the voice is going. Sell James Ward-Prowse or Diaby. 0 million in the bank. Mid Salah, Saka, Gordon, Diaby, James Ward-Prowse. That is a good question. Diaby has worse fixtures, but Ward-Prowse is playing in a deeper role, and you're only going to get the odd return every 3 or 4 games, maybe. Not the consistency that we got earlier in the season. So, difficult one. But I think I'd rather sell Diaby. I would probably do Diaby to Palmer still, and then you can use those funds to upgrade James Ward-Prowse to Mbeumo in the weeks to come. So yeah, I actually don't mind that. You could even buy Mbeumo now. So do Diaby to Mbeumo now, and then buy Palmer for Ward-Prowse the week after. I think that's the best play there, A and B. Sell or keep Diaby? I think he's a sell. If sell, to who? Yeah, you've already got most of the key options, to be fair. I'd say Palmer. I still like Palmer long term. Very, very reliant on penalties, but good option. Diaby and Trippier to Son and Lascelles? Not sure about that. Not sure about that because Botman could be back very soon. And look, overall as a duo, who do I prefer? Son and Lascelles, I will admit that, but I think Trippier's a fantastic long-term choice. If I had him, I'd probably look to keep. I can see what you're doing there, and I'm not completely against it, to be honest, but I'd just be a bit cautious about it, and I'd actually rather have Trippier over Son, but that's my personal take. Dylan, I'm afraid I'm playing with Haaland. Will I lose FPL? Current rank 772k. 772, that's good. You're afraid of playing with Haaland. I'm guessing you don't have Haaland. Well, you are at your rank for a reason, and you can do well without Haaland. It's about how you spend the funds by not having him. Having said all of that, with the fixtures coming up for Haaland, it's just a sea of green in the FDR. I would try to buy him back if possible, but don't go ballistic taking a -8 or more because you'd undo your progress and you'll quickly be out of the top 1,000. So keep doing what you're doing, but try have a plan to buy him back for Gameweek 16. Foden looks good. Yes, I have him in UCL Fantasy, and now he's translating that form to FPL. Thoughts on Trippier to Borderot to enable Bowen to Son? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that now, selling Trippier to facilitate Son. I understand that. Overall, good transfers. I like Borderot. But I'd rather have Trippier, to be honest. I think I'd keep Trippier and Bowen. Yeah, I think that's what I'd do. I mean, London W4. Jesus, great performance yesterday, but no returns. And in the Premier League, his returns haven't been great overall. You don't go for Jesus when you can go for Isak, you can go for Darwin even, and of course, more importantly, Watkins and Haaland. It's just, there's not really a spot for Jesus in your FPL team, in my opinion. You've also got Alvarez with good fixtures very soon. Yeah, exactly that. Look, for me, Jesus is one of the best strikers in the league in terms of his overall play, the dribbling, the way he links up with others. But in terms of goal scoring, I just really wouldn't fancy him. Thank you, AMB, for the super chat. No funds for Mbumo. Yeah, that is a shame. That is. I think I have your question earlier. Let's see if I can find your question, your message. Yeah, the chat is very busy today. I do appreciate it. I'm trying to go for as many as possible. Like I said, after the stream is done, I will be going through the team selection and having that ready for tomorrow. That is the plan. If I'm not able to do that, then, you know, maybe tomorrow, it'll be quite late on. I'll record the video and then have that out late tomorrow. But yeah, A and B, you say sell James or Prowse or Diaby. Yeah, you have 0 million in the bank. Yeah, that's right. But that's why I'm saying you can do Diaby to Parma this week then. And then do James Ward-Prowse to Mbumo with the funds you would then accrue by selling Diaby to Parma. So, yeah, I think that's the way I'd do it then. Even though you'd rather have Mbumo first, that's what I'd probably do. I'd buy Parma first and then buy Mbumo straight after. What are your transfer plans? I'll discuss in the team selection video. Yeah, I don't think there's much point talking about it in detail because there's 3 or 4 things I could do, and I'll try to cover all of it in the video. He's going for a win. Will I lose FPL? Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, I wish I could do that this season. When Dylan says Potter, I melt. Yeah, I mean, how do like English people just say it? Just Poro. Haaland's price still the same despite being the second highest scoring player. How crazy is that? I get almost every manager had him from the start and sales and buys have been insignificant. Yeah, it is absolutely insane, but it just kind of shows how expensive he is and how consistent he is as well. He's doing what we all expect. I was trying to decide whether to bring in Palmer and Gordon for this game week and looks like I made the wrong choice. Do I sell Palmer to Gordon or do I still keep Palmer? The thing is, though, you'd still keep Palmer, and with Gordon now flagged, I don't think it makes sense to make that move. I know Palmer also had his own injury problem, which saw him not start today, but I don't think you now sell Palmer to Gordon because you probably want him back in a few weeks' time, especially if he gets some penalties as well. Akanji, second Arsenal defender, me. I'd rather go for a second Arsenal defender, to be quite honest with you. Brentford, good fixtures, but defensively not really secure. Akanji, I mean, you're going to see rotation in this Christmas period. You've got the blank in Game Week 18. The chances of a double in Game Week 20 for Man City and Brentford are looking slimmer by the minute. And I think Arsenal have the best defence right now, so I'd rather go for the second Arsenal defender. How long is Pope out for? I don't know exactly, but it could be a couple of months. That is a possibility. Whether it's up until March or February, who knows? But Dubravka's a great option in the meantime. 70 points this week. That's really good stuff. Yeah, probably another one with Watkins. A lot of people here do have him. So yeah, I think that's a game changer. Should I sell Diaby to Saka now before the price rise? We'll have 0.4 million in the bank if I do it now. Now look, I normally don't recommend early transfers, but this is different because all the games have just happened. We have no midweek games in terms of Champions League. It's literally a quick turnaround, Tuesday deadline, and really you've just got tomorrow and Tuesday where injuries could happen. So yeah, I'd probably do it now. I don't think you'll really, nothing will really go against you if you do it now. I want to transfer out Douglas Luiz. Who should I get? Have Saka and Mbumo, Salah and Gordon. I have 7.9 million in the bank. I still like Bowen, but apart from him, I would consider Palmer. I think those two would be my favourites at that price threshold. Play Taylor and get Dubravka in Game Week 15 or get Pedro Porro for cash or both -4. That is a tricky one. I think the thing is, it depends what your other goalkeeper is. If it's Areola, I'd probably go for the Dubravka move. Would you prioritize selling Cash or Turner? Once again, I'm not trying to sit on the fence. It really does depend. What is your team situation? Do you have Areola, for example, or do you have another solid choice in goal, like Johnston, who you could easily play this week? My guess is you have Areola, and as a result, I think upgrading Turner is better and going to Dubravka or Raya. A doggy for Saliba or Cash for Saliba? Tricky question. I think with the fixtures in mind, I'd rather sell Cash and keep a doggy. I think that's what I'd love to do. Stop doing last minute transfers, Dylan. I mean, look, on paper it looked good. A lot of people were saying in the polls and also in the chat, it wasn't like horrific transfers on paper. I think Watkins out for Darwin. Yeah, look, ultimately, if I knew he's going to start for sure, I wouldn't have done it myself. So, yeah, I'm going to take full responsibility for it. But I think selling Bowen instead of Diaby and losing out on 2 points from that, I think that's a bit of bad luck, I would say, especially with Diaby being benched. Odegaard is interesting. I think he's now back to his best. He actually spoke recently and he said that he was ill recently. And before that, he obviously had the concussion. And before that, he had the injury, which saw him out for a few weeks. So he's had a rough couple of weeks and months. But now, I think we're seeing the best of him. Man of the match yesterday against Wolves. So yeah, he's interesting. But would I go from over Saka? No. I just sold Watkins for Isak. Should I get him back? Not this week. I think if you want Watkins back, just buy him for Gameweek 17 against Brentford. I think that's the best time to do it. Doing early transfers is fine, but you could still get leaks for the Tuesday games. True. That is true. I think that's one, possible upside, but I'm actually looking at it, and do I expect much in terms of information for Liverpool and Man City? Not really, because the Tuesday games don't include them. We could get some Arsenal news, whether Tomiyasu's fit, is Zinchenko going to start and stuff like that, but you wouldn't really expect too much in terms of big news, in my opinion. Hopefully I'm wrong and we can get some Darwin official confirmation of a start. Have you seen Haaland got 2 assists today? Yeah, I saw. Quite surprising to see him not score and get 2 assists. It's not going to happen very often. Neto could be back very soon, actually. The original kind of statement that was given a couple of months ago, or a month ago now, is that he should be aiming for a return after the international break. So I can't give you an exact timeline, but I'd say within the next week or two, he could be back. When cash to Zinchenko, it could have been much better than that, mate, if Zinchenko didn't gift them a goal. I'll tell you that much. Is this like a risk now that Wilson is back in training? He's already back in training, right? Yeah. I saw a comment recently by Wilson himself that he's aiming to return as soon as possible, and it all comes down to whether the physios will allow it. But yeah, if Wilson's back, that is not good news for Isak, and it means there's going to be some benchings, and you'd rather go for Darwin even, Alvarez, or Watkins, who is the best of them all. Let me try to see if I've got an official statement by Eddie Howe and Wilson. No official statement about him, no update. At the moment, it looks like he'll return for Boxing Day. But yeah, let's wait and see if we get any further updates on Wilson, and I'll cover it in the deadline stream on Tuesday. Yeah, he is flagged. I wouldn't be too worried about Gordon. If he misses out, it'll probably just be 1 week. My guess is that he'll be in the squad against Everton. But the big problem and the thing that everyone wants to know is, will he start? And I can't tell you that for sure. I'll be a bit optimistic and say yes, but just take my words with a pinch of salt. Would you downgrade Bowen and sell Lascelles to buy Trippier? That's a good question. Who would you go to, though, from Bowen? If you're going from Bowen to Mbumo or Gordon or Lascelles, that's fine. Well, not Lascelles. Palmer would have been the one I'm saying. Yeah, look, I can see what you're doing there, and Trippier's been absolutely fantastic, but yeah, I think it really depends on who you buy for Bowen, and that would determine whether I say yes or no in terms of what I think about it. I have 1.4 million in the bank. My team is Areola, Saliba. I have 1 free transfer. What change do I need to make? I think the big upgrade you can make for this week specifically is your goalkeeper. So I'm guessing Turner's your second choice. If that's the case, maybe doing Turner to Dubravka and starting him with Areola. I think that's quite simple. The rest is quite good. You can always make transfers in the weeks to come, selling Gay in Gameweek 16 or 17, and the rest is quite solid. Zinchenko está con buen rendimiento en estos últimos partidos. Sí, está jugando bien, pero como siempre tiene esos momentos donde pierde la concentración y mira lo que hizo en contra Wolves. Da la pelota y regala ese gol para Cunha. Así que Zinchenko es muy... no sé, es muy... te hace enojar como hincha de Arsenal. I used my transfer for Saliba versus Luton. Was it worth it? Well, it's one of the best defender options this week and also up until Christmas, so it's a good long-term option there. Which defender would you get for Anderson besides Trippier, Saliba, Tsimikas for Gameweek 16? I'm in a similar predicament. I would consider Dalot, but that's mainly for a 1 Gameweek punt against Bournemouth. Then you probably bench him for the next couple of weeks up until United enter a good fixture run. but it's quite tricky. You maybe consider a Chelsea defender like Colwill or James, but I'm not a big fan of Chelsea defenders right now, to be honest. So, yeah, based on fixtures, you go for Chelsea options, but it's just really a matter of who could you go for there. Thank you to Stapaki for moderating the chat. That level of spamming is unbelievable. Already have Mbumo, Gordon, Saka, and Salah. So it'll be someone to Hwang or Palmer. Yeah, that's a good midfield. You're pretty well set. I would rather go for Palmer over Hwang based on fixtures and the penalty scenario, the good underlying numbers for that for Cole Palmer. So yeah, I'd go for Palmer. And overall, I think it is worth doing that. But having said that, the players you have originally are still quite good. Nkuku in for Watkins soon? No. I think with Watkins, just keep him. Even in this run of Man City and Arsenal back-to-back, you just keep him. I was thinking of maybe getting Foden or Palmer. Do you think Palmer will play the other games? Yes. I think he was just rested or he didn't get the start as a precaution because of the injury probably picked up yesterday during training. I have 2.2 million and going to sell cash, but do I go -4 with Gay, sell or Turner to Dubravka? Don't sell Gay for a hit now. You do that in Game Week 16 for free. But with Bournemouth at home, despite their form recently, you don't sell a Palace defender at home against Bournemouth for a hit. So just do Turner to Dubravka and leave it at that. Did early transfers last night, Walker and Lascelles for Lamptey and Cash. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you're probably desperate to get rid of Cash. I still got him in my team. I mean, how did I get into a situation where I had 3 Villa players? I sold Diaby and Watkins before Cash. I mean, maybe I was just very stupid there. But your team is looking good. That's definitely for sure. I have Livramento, Tsimikas, Gay, Powell, and Taylor. Should I sell any of them except Taylor because of funds, and for who? Yeah, to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything, I do think the defensive line is weak. I think you need to bolster that. Gay's fine for this week. But you've got Pau Torres against Man City and Arsenal back-to-back. Tsimikas is good, by the way. Those two are good this week. Tsimikas and Gay. Taylor's not too bad either. But I think overall, you need to make some changes there. Get an Arsenal defender in up until Christmas so you can get Saliba in for Pau Torres. I think that would be my advice. If you want to keep Pau for Game Week 18 against Sheffield United, then you probably get rid of Livramento there instead. But then again, Newcastle defenders are good. It's just Livramento is probably a step below Lascelles, and then you've got Trippier, who's by far the best. So my advice would be to do Pau Torres to Saliba or another Arsenal defender you can afford. Sold Bone for Gordon, what do you think? With Gordon, he's mainly going to get returns in home matches. He's returning every single one so far. Overall, Gordon is looking better right now, but Bowen is still a good choice over the Christmas period. So let's see how it pans out. It might go against you, at least this week, but yeah, it's a tricky one because with Gordon, he is flagged right now, and buying an injured player or a doubt is always going to be a risk. Not so sure about that. They played very well today, but who do you go to? Leno in goal is probably their best option, but Fulham concede so many chances. Yeah, I just really couldn't tell you which player I'd go for, especially in the attack. I can't really tell you when Nkuku will be available to start, but it should be very soon. You know, he's making big progress. I think if I had to guess myself without knowing all the information, I'd say within the next week or two, you could see him starting games. But would I sell Watkins to Nkuku? No, because by the time Nkuku starts, you've got Watkins entering a good fixture run. So no. Dean to Trippier or Dean and Kabore to Pedro Porro and Reece James? I'd rather do Dean to Trippier. Yeah, I also think so. Without being biased, I think Salah genuinely should have gotten 15 plus points, maybe. Definitely 10 plus, that's for sure. He should have gotten 2 assists, a goal himself, but it is what it is. Yeah, and also Haaland captainers were a bit unlucky with that yellow card at the end. I mean, look, everyone had, to an extent, a bit of bad luck this week, but it is what it is. I think captaining Salah was the right decision, and next week, or on Tuesday anyway, for the deadline, I'm really still bullish on Salah. Is Alvarez still a sell? It's tricky because, once again, it depends on who your other forwards are. If you've got Watkins and Haaland already, I'd keep Alvarez. If you don't have one of those options, I'd probably sell Alvarez to those choices. Thoughts on going against Mbumo? He's not essential, of course, that's quite clear. He is a good option. He's got terrific underlying numbers. He's an underperformer. On penalties, there's a lot to like with Mbumo, but he can be frustrating at times. Yeah, if you go against him, I'm not really against that, to be honest. I don't really think that's a bad thing. Is buying any keeper worth a -4? Not really. Look, a -4 for a keeper can pay off long term, but will it pay off in a single game week? It's very unlikely for it to happen, and goalkeepers have a low ceiling. Typically, you take hits for players with high upside, whether it's Trippier or Trent at the back, midfielders or attackers. You know the drill basically, but I don't really think so. What Chelsea defender to target? Probably Reece James or Colwill, but I'm not a big fan. Thank you for your advice for not selling Bowen for Mbeumo. For not selling Bowen. Okay, so you're happy with keeping Bowen? Fair enough. I'm actually a bit frustrated that I kept him in the end because I sold him instead of Watkins. But I'm happy for you. Hopefully Bowen does well in this period. Is Mbeumo a necessity? No, I just mentioned that now. He definitely isn't. I would sell Doku, and I've said this all along. Good long-term fixtures, but there will be rotation. He picked up a knock today. That's why I was subbed off early. But yeah, I would sell him. Watkins versus Tony versus Mitrovic. Who's better? I'd say Tony is probably the best for me as an overall player. Then it's Watkins, then it's Mitrovic. Have Gabriel, Mitchell, Lascelles, Tsimikas, and Baldock. Need to bring in a better centre-back. Who should I buy and for who? I think what you're really missing... I mean, can I even say that? It's tricky because apart from Arsenal, Newcastle, and Liverpool, I'm looking at the other defences and there's not really a good run of fixtures apart from Chelsea, I'd say. Yeah, I'd maybe consider Cole or James, but I'm not a big fan, as I mentioned. Cole was a skip in my latest transfer tips video. Dallo, as someone you can start in Game Week 16 against Bournemouth, that could be something you could look at. But this week, you start Gabriel, Mitchell, and Tsimikas, maybe. Your defense is good this week. I think you'd want to make defender transfers after Game Week 15. Did you change the caption in UCL Fantasy? I was up to 5,000 changing... Oh, the captain. I did, unfortunately. Yeah, I went to Kane. Literally, I could have gone to Bellingham or Saka, but I got it completely wrong, as usual. So yeah, I changed it as well in the end. Should I start Gay, Mitchell, or Palmer this game week? Good question. I probably would go for a Palace defender. Gay or Mitchell, I can't really tell you. Gay slightly better for bonus points. Mitchell has more attacking threat. So you can just really start both or, pick whoever you want. But yeah, I'd go for a Palace defender. Sell Saka, Odegaard to Salah, Hwang Hee-chan for a -4 hit. Want a captain Salah. Worth it? I'm not so sure about that, mate, to be honest. Because Odegaard is entering into some good form now. He's got Luton Town away next. Whilst I don't think Arsenal will smash them, and it could be low scoring, I don't think it's worth selling Saka and Odegaard for a hit. I know what you're doing there. And if you really think Salah's going to start and do really well against Sheffield, I'm talking about a monster haul, and you want to captain him, fair enough, I can see what you're doing. But my issue with the transfers is selling Saka and Odegaard for a hit. Thoughts about this kid, Lewis Miley of Newcastle? I haven't seen much of him, only a couple of games, but from what I've seen, very impressive. Just like Mainu against Everton as well. But of course, it's difficult to get carried away with youngsters because when someone shows that much maturity or potential at such a young age, you kind of naturally get carried away. So I'd obviously give it a little bit of time, see if he can keep on going. But right now, the sky's the limit for him, you could say. Share to Gabriel, already have Saliba for long term. Good to sell Palmer for Bowen or Son. From those transfers, I would... Difficult one, mate. Difficult one. My personal preference of those moves would be Palmer to Son. Yeah. Badiashile, trust me later. Yeah, potentially. He does seem to get the odd goal or assist here and there. Buy Zinchenko, Saliba, or Borro. I would go for Saliba still. I think Zinchenko's injury prone. He's also subject to rotation. If Tomiyasu is fit and you've also got White there, I could see Zinchenko being benched at times, so I'd go for Saliba. Just be aware, all of those wanting to get in a keeper, none are really getting points. That is true. That is true. I think my main reasoning for looking to buy a goalkeeper this week is the fact that I think West Ham could concede a lot of goals. We could be looking at Areola getting, maybe not minus points, but I just don't really see him getting anything at all. Pope out for how many weeks? I can't tell you that for sure. We don't have the official line just yet, but he could be out for months, not just weeks. And if he is, that means Dubravka is a fantastic choice. Kudus versus Mbeumo. Kudus is looking really good. I think if you want to go against Mbeumo, you go for Kudus, and it's also a differential on Bowen too. But I still prefer Mbeumo. On penalties, better underlying numbers, better fixtures as well. I'd go for Mbeumo, but Kudus is also not too far behind. No official news on Pope yet. Of course, we got the update yesterday. He is injured. He could be out for weeks or months. And if he is indeed out for months, up until March or February, Dubravka, you've got that kind of nailed on, cheap, and pretty decent budget goalkeeper all of a sudden. Watkins or Son, taking into account price, and since I needed to upgrade defence, well, right now, if I'm buying one, it'd be Son, because he's also got better fixtures over the next two. But overall, let's say as a long-term hold, and who am I more likely to buy myself, it's going to be Watkins. So, yeah, over the next two, Son will outscore Watkins, I think. But beyond that, I'd still rather have Watkins based on value and everything taken into account. Will you bring Watkins against Man City? I really should have kept him, really, and I could have had 2 free transfers maybe, or done something else with my team which would have improved it. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'll buy him. I think what I might do is just wait until Tuesday for the deadline stream, see if we get any news, and if I see that Darwin is benched against Sheffield United, I will make the switch and just buy Watkins and, you know, take my medicine and go for it. Why do I feel Watkins, Alvarez and Haaland will still be the best front three for the rest of the season? Because Darwin misses chances, his minutes are slightly inconsistent, the same for Isak. His minutes are definitely going to be shared with Wilson when he returns. And then you look at the rest, the best options are Solanke, you know, they're not really going to be on that level. Will I regret selling Son? Depends, you know, did you sell him already in terms of before Gameweek 14? Are you going to sell him now? I definitely wouldn't sell him now, by the way. That would be my answer. So, yeah, if you're looking to sell him now, heading into Gameweek 15, my answer would be probably yeah. But it's all circumstantial because by selling Son, you might be able to get Trippier, or you can go for Watkins again in the forward line. There's so many different factors to take into account. Cash to Podra, I'm bored. I don't know what I'm even saying. I'm on board with that, mate. Honestly, Spurs looking poor defensively, but Podra's on set pieces and good attacking potential. I like that. Keep or sell Palmer? Keep. Definite keep. Start Gay and Mitchell, or Gay, Mitchell and Palmer. Now look, in your situation with double Palace defence, I would go for one of each. So I'd start Palmer and one Palace defender. That's what I do. Kudus nailed. I think he'll start most games. But in this sort of scenario where you have 3 games in a week, I think Kudus will get the odd benching, in my opinion. Of course, I can be proven wrong. Whilst with Bowen, you're going to get pretty much 3 out of 3 starts in a week, and you're not really going to have that benching headache. I think with Kudus, you could. I sold Watkins for Isak and got Nunez for Nketiah. Is it worth it? Yes. As bad as Nunez was today, he's a much better option than Nketiah in FPL. Nketiah just comes off the bench and does nothing really. And Darwin, if he starts or even gets half an hour against Sheffield United, he could go ballistic. Is starting Watkins this game okay? Definitely, especially a Man City side without Rodri. Did you hear about Haaland going after the ref post-game, swearing at him and being aggressive? Possible ban. I don't think he'll get a ban. He'll probably get a fine or a reprimand. I saw that he was going ballistic during the game, and to be honest, even though I don't necessarily like City and I think they've been favoured this season, I can, you know, understand his frustration because it was a stupid decision and it does influence games. There's a reason why a lot of fans of Premier League clubs complain about referees, because these tight calls, these so-called insignificant choices and decisions by the referees, they impact football matches and the results. So, turn it to Dubravka this week. Yes, I think that's a good transfer, but you probably want to wait for any news on Pope just in case. I think he will be out for weeks or months, and as a result, you should be fine. But just in case, don't pull the trigger just yet. I'm thinking of bringing in Gordon in Gameweek 17, where he has a free, great fixture run, Fulham, Luton and Nottingham Forest. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You don't need to buy Gordon just yet. And also, by that time, he will have the injury cleared. So it doesn't make sense to buy him now with the flag unless he is subsequently clear and fit to play. So yeah, I think that's fine. My worry is Fabianski at any point could get some games. Areola has been fine. Goal's not his fault, but you never know. True, Fabianski has credit in the bank. But yeah, with Areola, I don't really think the goal's, yeah, like you said, not his fault. You know, literally, Edouard missed like a sitter. And then the commentator mentioned that he never scored against West Ham. And then seconds later, he scores because West Ham gifted them the ball again. So it is what it is. Is 7 changes on the wildcard all right? Definitely. You know, I think with a wildcard, you probably want to make 7 or more changes. Sometimes make 5 or 6. That's understandable. But yeah, that's good. Wang Yichan to Gordon if fit? Yes, I like that move, but maybe in either case, I'd maybe delay that for 1 week. Hwang Hee-chan could outscore Gordon in Game Week 15. But yeah, that's covered. Selling Trippier for Lascelles or Livramento to fund Saka move, but I'm confused between Lascelles and Livramento. I'd rather go for Lascelles right now, but when Botman is back, you're probably going to see Livramento getting more starts because Lascelles will be a bench player from that point onwards. So yeah, it's difficult. Right now, I prefer Lascelles. He's safer at this point in time. But in a few weeks, it could easily be the other way around where Livramento is the safer pick. So it's tricky, but I'd say Lascelles. Kudus for Bowen. Even if Bowen does well, Kudus is likely to be involved. I wouldn't make that switch personally because Bowen is more nailed on. I also think he's more of a talismanic figure. And he was disappointing today, but he just came back from an injury. I think we'll see more from Bowen in the weeks to come. Gordon or Doku? Gordon all day long. Sterling plus Palmer double up? Yeah, I think one's enough, and I'd go for Palmer, but it's not a bad shout with the fixtures. That's definitely not the case, Sankalp. The only reason Palmer didn't start is because he picked up a knock in training yesterday. Isak is the only striker other than Watkins. The real money choice is Son or Trent. I'd go for Son. After the next 2 games for Liverpool, the fixtures are quite poor. They are mid-table. We're actually close to the bottom of the FDR list that we went through earlier over the next 6. So, yeah, Son all day long. Bulldog to Tsimikas, me, Borra for a -4. I'd probably go for Tsimikas. Even though Liverpool don't have great fixtures long-term, yeah, I'd rather go for Tsimikas. Yeah, the decision was not correct, just a human error. Yeah, I mean, they make a lot of errors, don't they? Anthony Puss's team. How's my team for Game Week 15? Pretty good. If that's Joachim Anderson on your bench, I would start him, but I'm guessing that's the Newcastle Anderson who you still have. If possible, I would upgrade your goalkeeper and start him over Areola because I think Spurs will score 2 or 3 against West Ham. Haaland captain due to Villa's high line. Haaland's still a good shout, don't get me wrong, but I think Salah against Sheffield United, I can't ignore that. How many points you got after the game update, Stillham? It's literally what you see on screen, 57. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get any additional points there. Palmer still nailed. Poch just didn't want to risk it. Yeah, I completely agree. Start Watkins or Palmer? Still Watkins for me. Is Hwang Hee-chan a good pick for this week? Yes, I think he is. If you bring Watkins, that game against Aston Villa is a must-win for Man City, but remember they have Stones if Rodri is suspended. True, I think Stones coming back is huge, but not having Rodri is also huge, and I still don't think... The thing with Stones is he does really well in that inverted midfield role, but it's alongside Rodri and not as a replacement. So, look, I still think City will win, and they'll deal with this suspension, but it's going to be tricky. I had Edouard, great differential 9-pointer, good stuff. Is Trent worth a sacrifice? Look, Trent over the next 2 looks amazing, but beyond that, I don't think it's worth having him, and I'd rather go for Trippier at the back. Yeah, Timmy, I went through your question already. I said that's absolutely fine. Yeah, Wei-Sing, I did consider Trippier, and actually a few days ago, I could have done Bowen to Mbumo whilst keeping Diaby and Watkins this week. That would have meant 11 more points, roughly. And I also could have got Trippier at the back for Matty Cash. If I did that, I would be on 70 points or something ridiculous like that, or 80 points, and I'd probably be in an amazing position. But that's all ifs, buts, and maybes. It wasn't my number one plan anyway, so I can't come back here and tell you now I was so close to doing it, but it was a possibility. Well, Trent is a differential. Yeah, of course, and like I said, I like him for the next 2, but beyond that, I just don't think he's worth the money. 56 -8 and a red arrow, which was expected. Yeah, I think long term you could pay off. Those transfers could pay off. I don't know what they are exactly, but yeah, I don't think that's too bad. I think Colwell will start most games, but we saw a few weeks ago, he was on a yellow card. He was very aggressive in that Tottenham game. He got subbed off for Cucurella, and a lot of Chelsea fans wanted Cucurella to start the game in the first place, but I think there could be the odd game where Colwell was benched. He should start most. Is his ceiling going to be particularly high? Not really, but he could be a shout for the Chelsea defence. I might go to him myself, but I'm not a big fan. In which game week do Salah, Son, and others leave? Game week 21. Until when? I just think it's the end of, or beginning of February, actually. Pardon. Let me actually double check this. So, yeah, the African Cup of Nations is running from the 13th of January to the 11th of February. So if we put that into FPL terms, so yeah, we're basically looking at Salah being unavailable from game week 21 up until game week 25. 25 is when he should be back against Brentford away. Of course, it does depend on when these teams are knocked out, by the way, for Salah, as an example. And if he's knocked out early, if Egypt are knocked out early, then it could be even earlier than that. But you're basically looking at game weeks 21 to 24 of Salah missing. As for the Asian Cup, let's see what we have. Yeah, 12th of January to 10th of February, so very similar. Game week 21 to 24 once again. But if Heung-min Son is eliminated early, you could see him returning a bit sooner. Just as a tip to people, Google Areola with caution. Hopefully he plays well next few weeks and doesn't make any... okay. I'm not sure what that's about, but maybe you can give me some more context in the Discord server, as long as it's not another Jackson situation. But is it downgrading Trippier to fund Saka move worth it? I don't think so. I think Trippier is a fantastic option long term. Best budget midfielder, want to change Diaby? Gordon for me. Then it's Palmer. Saka to Salah this week. I mean, Salah, yeah. If you can do it for free, go for it. You know, don't let me stop you, but I'd still like Saka long term. Captain Salah or Saka? Salah. Colwell not nailed, says Weiseng. There you go. Start Tsimikas or Borro next week? Tsimikas. I guess I will just roll and start Areola, Tsimikas, Mitchell, Gabriel, Salah, Saka, and Mbumo, Gordon, Bowen, Watkins, Haaland. Yeah, I do the same in your situation, to be fair. But I'm looking to upgrade my goalkeeper, I think. I just can't stand Areola for one more game week. Is Keller a bad goalkeeper? He actually looked pretty decent last season, but this campaign, it's been a bit different. He's been shaking the Europa League. Liverpool fans have been saying it all season long. And today he conceded some sloppy goals, especially the second one, I believe, which he should have saved. But look, the goalkeeper position for me is the hardest. If you make a mistake there, you're punished inevitably with a goal conceded. Slightly worried because Watkins keeps scoring. He scored versus City last year and they are conceding. Likely that any goal involvement will include him. Exactly, and that's why if I see news that Darwin is benched against Sheffield United, I'm just going to pull the trigger and buy Watkins again and stomach my mistake. Just wanted to say that you're awesome. Thank you very much, Pankaj. Been following you since 2K subs. That's a long time ago. I think that was back in 2020, 2021. And you've helped me a lot. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. And long may it continue. Salah, Son, etc. out until game week 25. Yeah, exactly that, Twister Parky. Good stuff. Dopa says, should I look to upgrade my goalkeepers? You got Flecken, don't you? But Brighton away, I probably would. I would do Flecken to Dubravka or Raya. Then again, how many Arsenal players do you have? Yeah, you got two. So yeah, Raya or Dubravka, take your pick from those two, and I'd sell Flecken. It's not absolutely necessary, but I think I'd do it. 1 million in the bank, says Dopa as well. Yeah, I'd do that. I went Reece James. Trippier is too expensive. He is too expensive, but he is worth the money at the moment. Most bonus points of any player. I think he's got 10 more points than any other defender. He's just a class act in FPL. Normally take lots of hits. Took none so far this season until this week. Took a 12-point hit and got a 50k green arrow to 816k. That's great stuff. I saw some people taking -8s and -12s, and it didn't end up well for them, selling Watkins and all these players. I don't think Egypt will do well. Yeah, I don't know enough about Egypt or African teams to really comment on that. Maybe you're right. Historically, they are the most successful team in the competition, but yeah, maybe they're not really the same. Gay to Colwell or Borro? Borro. We'll see. You need to go away for the Club World Cup. Yes, that's why they blank in Game Week 18. Salah to KDB during AFCON. It could be a shout. That's definitely a good shout. But we need to see KDB in action still. Will he be the same? I think he will. But his minutes will be managed extensively, in my opinion. Change Son to Mbumo and finally have funds to replace Anderson, Newcastle. Thoughts on who to bring in? I have 2.5 million in the bank. Mbumo still, as I mentioned before, Kudus, Palmer and Gordon. The way I'd rank it would be Gordon first, Mbumo second, Palmer third and Kudus fourth. When is Nkuku supposedly returning? I'll try to give you an official update. I don't want to just spin out another number on the top of my head. That's not worth it. So the latest update we've got on Nkuku, no, it's nothing recently anyway. yeah, he could be available for the next deadline for game week 15. I would say within the next week or two is when I'd expect him to return, but things change so quickly with injuries, and who knows what Pochettino will update us on in the next couple of days. But I'd say next week or so, between game week 15 and 17 would be my take. Take that with a pinch of salt, of course, but just an opinion. Should I take a hit by selling Turner for Dubravka? Not worth a hit, in my opinion. I probably wouldn't do that. Thank you, Welp. Hopefully green arrow next week for everyone. Likewise, thank you very much. Thoughts on Kelleher? As an FPL option, no. Because Alisson should be back very soon. Kelleher could get a clean sheet. I think he will get one, actually, over the next two. But long term, you want to go for Dubravka or David Raya. Triple Captain Watkins. Please, I don't want to mention that guy again. Honestly, maybe it's a bit irrational, but I hate the guy at the moment in FPL because selling him on both occasions has cost me 40 plus points, and I just hate it. Why do Man City concede more goals against Spurs? Do you think they're missing stones? I don't think there's one set thing, but Man City this season have been a bit shaky at the back. Conceding 4 to Chelsea was already a big alarm bells ringing there. I think once again, look, literally back-to-back weeks against Liverpool and Tottenham, City haven't killed the games off. They should be winning both games with ease. Against Liverpool by 2 or 3 goals, in my opinion. They were the better team. Against Tottenham, they could have been 4 or 5-1 up at one stage. So they didn't kill the game off at the required time. And Spurs, you have to give them credit. They fought back, and I thought they'd get battered today. I really did, but they did make some tweaks. I think they were a bit smarter in terms of their high line. Oddly enough, their defensive line was a bit deeper, but their midfield line was higher, and as a result, City were able to just carve past them, bypass the press, and they were constantly ripping them open because of that midfield. But afterwards, I think in the second half, they made some changes, and Spurs looked better and more competitive in the game. Kelleher is awful. Yeah, I'd say just a bang average keeper, in my opinion. Now, look, of course, they're professionals. They're better than most. But yeah, I think Kelleher, in terms of professional keepers, probably bang average at best. Ariel is also the word for the bits around. Oh, okay, I did not know that, mate. Moving swiftly on, thank you to Stapaki. Learning more about the breasts in an FPL stream. Mr. Nobody says, should I spend all my money in the bank to upgrade Cash to Trippier, but I won't have enough money to upgrade my other defenders, Gabriel, Tsimikas, Baldock, Kabore? That's the issue, because you've got Baldock and Kabore, and I would suggest having defensive depth in this period. So as much as I like Trippier, he's a fantastic option. With the lack of home games coming up, I'd probably say no, don't get Trippier just yet. I had Bentley on my bench and he's got 8 points. Very rare that you see that. A team losing and a goalkeeper getting an 8-pointer. Just the way it happened was really strange. Arsenal should have scored once again, just like City today, not killing the game off. It should have been 3-4, 5-0, in my opinion. It was a great display by Arsenal, especially in the first half, but didn't kill the game off. Thoughts on Fleck, Dubravka, and Diaby to Mbuma -4? Yeah, look, it's not ideal to take a hit for a goalkeeper, but long term, those moves will pay off. So my answer would be yes. Should I take a hit by selling Turner for Dubravka? Once again, just like I said to Diogo, long term, it should pay off. Well, it will pay off, but in terms of expecting it to, pay dividends now, maybe not, because Areola could basically get the same score as Dubravka, and by taking a hit, you also will be in a net loss. But yeah, I'd say go for it, to be honest. Should I bench boost Onana, Gabriel, Hwang, and Tsimikas? I've seen worse bench boosts, to be fair. I think that's pretty good. And actually, I saw someone yesterday talking about buying Rodriguez, Taylor, and bench boosting it, and I hope he did it, because I was basically saying I'm not so sure. I said it looks good, but I would probably use it later in the season, so hopefully he did use it. Which team will be blanking with City? Brentford. Best Chelsea assets for the upcoming fixtures? Palmer, Sterling, Sanchez in goal, I think would be my favourite 3. I think Nkuku will play United game with Gallagher out. Yeah, that could be a great shout, yeah. Between game week 15 and 17 is when he should be back. Just noticed Gordon is flagged. Should I be worried? Sorry. Not really. I don't think you should be worried. Could he miss out? Yes. Could he be benched? Of course. But is it going to be a long-term thing? I don't think so. I don't think it'll be a long-term thing. Should I take a hit selling Palmer and going up to Gordon? No, no, no. Don't take a hit for that. No, especially with the injury out. Keep Evan Ferguson or sell. I'd sell him. If you can go to Ollie Watkins, even Darwin or Isak, I think it's worth it. Didn't kill the game off because Haaland squandered so many chances. He did. That is true. He should have scored. That's what I mean. Both Haaland and Salah captainers were very unlucky this week. Both of them could have got 16 points again. I'm with you with Watkins. I never wanted to sell him. It was a squad rejig in Game Week 7. Then I found it hard to get him back. Yeah, I got him back because of the wild card in Game Week 8, but yeah, Watkins is just my nemesis in this game. If Callum Wilson is ahead of his schedule, I may have to consider selling Isak back for Watkins, and I'll be able to upgrade Areola to Dubravka. Yeah, definitely keep an eye on the Callum Wilson updates. If he is ahead of schedule, it probably won't impact his chances. I still think Isak will start in midweek, but then you could see Wilson starting against Tottenham next week. So yeah, Gordon injury doesn't seem too serious. Exactly that. I don't think it's serious. He misses one game max. I think he'll be in the squad either way. I had Bentley on my bench and he got a point. Yeah, I went through that. Should I take a hit by selling Turner for Dubravka? Covered. Yeah, look, Dommy, of course, it's all tongue-in-cheek. I don't actually hate Watkins. I just think from an FPL perspective, you know, and I do blame myself for it, by the way. I do blame myself. I think there is an element of misfortune, especially the first time I sold him. This time, I think, you know, 50-50 call. It went the other way. It is what it is, but I hate him. What can I say? How long is Pope out for? There's not a definitive timeline yet, but he could be out for months. That is definitely a possibility. I'd be surprised if he isn't out for weeks. That's for sure. You know, if he's, let's say, available for game week 15, I'd be shocked. I really would. So I think Dubravka is set for a extended run and goal. Also on Dawson versus Burnley and Forest at home. I don't think you'll necessarily get 2 clean sheets there, though. Maybe 1 out of the 2, but I'm not a big fan of the Wolves defence. Nuri, thoughts? He is the best of a bad bunch from the Wolves defence, but I don't trust the Wolves defenders. They're not getting enough clean sheets, to be honest. By the way, Dylan, you are sounding better. Did you enjoy the 2 Argentinian goals today? McAllister and Buonanotte, yes. Even the brace by Enzo Fernandez, which of course you probably would have hated. Alvarez assist, and I think there was someone else mentioned earlier, Dybala goal and assist. I mean, look, they're just goals and assists. Most of them are meaningless, you could say, but look, they're great goals. The McAllister one's my favourite, and Buonanotte, you know, just cutting into his left, and yeah, I love watching him at Central, and I think he's got a lot of potential. He's very raw. I went to watch Brighton against Wolves in the 6-0. I think Buonanotte came off the bench, if I'm not mistaken. No, he started the game, I think. He started the game. He wasn't that great, but I just think he's got that quality of pass, and his best position in the future could be down the middle as an attacking midfielder rather than on the right. Okay, so I need to save 2 transfers for Mbeumo and Haaland. Yeah, you could say that, but then again, you'd want them back instantly, or at least you want Haaland back. I think with Mbeumo, you probably sell him in Game Week 18 and don't buy him back. Yeah, look, Stones is good in the midfield. I know that. I waxed lyrical about him last season. I think that was a key reason why City was so successful, but Rodri's a different beast, and no matter if they have Stones back in the midfield, no Rodri is going to be a miss. If João Pedro got regular starts, he'd be my FPL. Yeah, he's very, very good in terms of returns per minute. Semenyo, a good enabler? Yes, definitely. He's probably better than Archer, but they're both 4.6 million. They're both sitting on my bench. I literally recommend going for Archer just because you just see 1 or 2 points on your bench most weeks, and you're not going to get those 5 or 6 pointers from Semenyo, which could be frustrating. We say some things in life. Yeah, exactly that. Aït-Nouri playing left winger. Yes, that is true, but like I said, the best of a bad bunch. I just don't trust Wolves defensively, and I'd rather go elsewhere to cover different defences. Bruno says, or should I keep bench boost to later on? I think it's a good shout, to use that bench boost. I'll be really honest, and I'm trying to be a bit more open-minded, because sometimes someone says, oh, look, I've got this amazing bench, and I'm like, maybe not, and then it ends up being really good. So I don't want to discredit it because it does look solid. Jared says bench Palmer, Alvarez, or Gordon, potential benching due to knock. I think from those 3, I'd still bench Palmer. But I think if you bench Gordon, I completely understand it, and I'm on board with it. Would you rather play Lo Celso or Enzo for Argentina? I don't think that's the conversation. It might seem weird, but for Argentina, it's Enzo playing defensive midfield. So if you really look at the Argentina midfield that started the Scaloni era, it was McAllister, sorry, it was Lo Celso on the left-hand side, De Paul on the right, and it was Paredes as the CDM. Now Enzo is taking Paredes' place, and McAllister is taking Lo Celso's place, sorry. So, yeah, it's really a question of Lo Celso or McAllister, and then for Enzo, it's Enzo or Paredes. And yes, I prefer Enzo over Paredes. And as for Lo Celso or McAllister, I mean, I personally prefer how Lo Celso plays, but I like both of them, and they both do a great job for Argentina. So, honestly, I think the squad depth is very good in that midfield area. Enzo who? Didn't agree with the Chelsea pen. Yeah, I didn't see the pen, but I heard it was very dubious, to say the least. But yeah, look, Enzo for me is a quality player. I think people just look at how poor Chelsea are, the lack of wins he's got at the club, and his poor goal record, but he is not a midfielder that scores goals on a regular basis, especially playing as a defensive midfielder. But yeah, for me, Enzo is a quality player, but in the wrong team. Chad Scott says 77 points, but Captain Salah didn't work. It really should have, though. Salah should have gotten, I'd say, 13 plus points. Same with Haaland. Both of them should have done much better. Kudus help, might sell. What's going to happen with Palmer? Rotate. Nah, I think Palmer's absolutely fine. You don't have Palmer. No, Palmer will get back into the team. I think he just picked up a knock in training yesterday, and that's why he didn't start. I think he's a good option long term. But Rodri did play against Young Boys in the Champions League, and Stones played, but City won. It's not that simple, though. You can also say Rodri, Man City are unbeaten with Rodri this season, and without him, they've lost every single game. For me, he's the most important player. Surprised Brian not record Sarmiento from West Brom. Oh, yeah, Sarmiento. Yeah. I actually forgot about him. Haven't seen much of him in the last season or so. Or Steven Alzate, with all the injuries. A full-strength Albion would have definitely won today. Oh, yeah, didn't Winks score a last-minute goal against them? Yeah, I saw that. Sarmiento from Ecuador and Alzate from Colombia. Yeah, I haven't seen much of those two players respectively, but Brighton have a nice South American contingent there. You've got Enciso, who's still injured. That's a clear pen for Chelsea. I think that was tongue-in-cheek. Is it pronounced Lo Celso or Lo Celso? Lo Celso is how they say it in Argentina. Lo Celso. Lo Celso, with the hand gesture as well. Yeah. Isak or Darwin for a 1 week punt? Darwin if he starts, of course, but that's the big question. Will he? I'm kind of leaning towards no. I'm a bit pessimistic about him now. Don't have Salah, even though red down to 230k. Not going too bad. That's still a great position to be in, though. But not looking forward to the Sheffield United game. Yeah, look, I have triple Liverpool, and if they all start, I'd be quite confident of some good returns there for all of them, but let's wait and see. I don't have Haaland and feel terrible that the assist for Son goal was credited to him. Yeah, I think for those without Haaland, a bit frustrating once again, but at least he got booked at the end and no goals. Wait and see on Wednesday. Stones will prove you wrong. I mean, I didn't say Stones is bad. I mean, and I still predict Man City to win. It's just, I think Rodri's a huge miss and the most important player. I don't really see what the argument is. We love the South Americans. Yeah, I mean, South Americans just have a different way of playing, that intensity, that flair as well. But look, everyone's different, and there are still some Europeans with great flair. Is Kudus a good option? Yes. Is he my favourite West Ham asset? No, that's still Bowen, but Kudus would be next up. I do a hand gesture when I say Chelsea. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Don't worry, you're not the only one. Captain Saka this week or Salah? Salah all day long for me. Should I bench Palmer or Hwang this week? That is a terrific question. Oof, Jesus. And by the way, we've got over 150 people watching. Be sure to smash the like button on your way out too. That'd be massively appreciated, but I'd probably go for Hwang this week. Yeah, that would be my 2 cents on it. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I know these streams tend to be like 2 hours or so. And look, it's still been 1 hour, 40 minutes. Time has flown by, as it usually does. But I now need to record the team selection video. That is going to be the next priority, and I'll try to upload that tomorrow. So, yeah, that will be the plan now. I think we'll go for a few more comments and questions and then wrap this up. And then afterwards, I'll be recording the team selection, then editing it overnight and having it ready for tomorrow. Kulusevski, did you get that right way saying Kulusevski or Kudus? But yeah, Kulusevski was good today. Arsenal fan helping Arsenal out. Thank you very much. The Swedish masterclass there. Sold Alvarez and Foden this week. Typical. Yeah, that's FPL for you. I sold Diaby and Watkins. Guess what happened? Is Dubravka a good option now? For sure. Now, Newcastle would rather have Pope in goal, and they might keep fewer clean sheets as a result, but in home matches, Newcastle are a force. They've only conceded 4 goals at St James's Park, 2 of them to Darwin Núñez. So, yeah, I think Dubravka's a great option, but in away games, I don't really trust Newcastle defensively. Best differential captaincy options this week: Darwin Núñez, dare I say. Other differential captaincy. I'd also say, I mean, could you say Saka's a differential? No. I think Mbeumo could be a nice outside shout against Brighton. Not trying to be woke, it's just I genuinely think he could be decent. Hwang Hee-chan against Burnley. I mean, we're talking about real differentials here. I think Son would be my number 1 differential captain. Would you consider Saka or Trips captain this week? Saka, out of the two. Which is more essential, getting rid of Turner or Cash? Probably Turner. Because, look, the goalkeeper position, you're not going to gain much from it anyway, but if you've got a good defensive line already, you can always bench Cash and then start him in Game Week 18 in that really good fixture against Sheffield United. Haaland got 2 assists. How many points has he got? 7. He got the yellow card too. No bonus points. Yes, Kulusevski. Fair enough. Just we were talking about Kudus earlier. Yeah, Kulusevski played really well today. He has a good record against Man City. I think he scored last season too at the Etihad. 1 million in the bank to previous 1, says Owace. Yeah, I'd still rather sell Turner. You can always get rid of Cash in the weeks to come if he's still not playing, but I think it was just the rest. Alvarez nearly got 2 assists and a goal. Yeah, he played really well. City should have scored 4 or 5, and Haaland should have been on for a massive haul. Captain Núñez for 4 points. Honestly, I need this guy, if I keep him, to do really well against Sheffield United. The scenes when I sell him to Watkins, and then Watkins gets booked, gets 1 point, and then Darwin Núñez scores a brace, and then I just start complaining again. Then I need some hot toddies and extra fruit and vitamins. Also, a face steam would do you the world of good. I'm actually feeling good. It's just the voice. That's literally all it is. Trust me, I've taken a lot. You know, teas of gingers and honey and lemon, anything you can mention, paracetamol, cough syrup. I could go on. I've taken it all. Do you think changing Aurelio makes much difference? I actually think so, because Aurelio's kept 1 clean sheet this season. I think Dubravka, for that price, could be a steal. And in the home games, I'd back Newcastle to keep a lot of clean sheets. You've also got David Raya. Away from home, Arsenal keep so many clean sheets. They're really tough to beat. So, yeah, I think it is a difference. Not in 1 week, but it will build up over time. Is Bowen now okay and able to start games? Yes. I mean, I don't think... Let me actually double check when he was subbed off. If he was indeed, actually. Let's see. He played the full 90 today. I mean, that just goes to show how important he is. He didn't get subbed off, so yeah, I genuinely think he is going to play the majority of games. Of course, there will be some times where he's subbed off a bit early, but he'll play most minutes, and that's why I like him in this period. Kulusevski versus Saka, who dribbles better? I'd probably say Saka, to be honest. I think Kulusevski has really good control. Maybe his lack of pace lets him down a little bit because he can't really use that to beat a man. He needs to focus completely on ball retention, but I personally prefer Saka. Annoyed, bench Branthwaite for Cash. Had a feeling Cash would be benched. That's FPL. Yeah. And also, I thought Forest would score. My prediction was 2-1 Everton. Is Kudus to Gordon a good move after Game Week 15? Yes, I definitely think so. And overall, Gordon is better. Yeah, no, I appreciate Tustapaki. It's just the voice, really, though. Like I said, I'm pretty good. Much better than I was a few days ago, that's for sure. But as a Man U fan, we are terrible. No clue how Wednesday for Chelsea plays out. Yeah, 2 underperforming teams. I think Chelsea play better than Man United, but Man United have this ability to churn out results even when they don't play well. It is Old Trafford. I'd back Man United to win, but it's not convincing. And even last season, I was saying it to my Man United friends, I just don't really seem convinced by the way Ten Hag plays. And this season is much worse than last season. Bowen is like Bruno Fernandes, he never misses games. There you go, you've got a West Ham fan telling you that. Did Bowen and Watkins to Mbeumo and Darwin? One worked out, one didn't. Yeah, I did Diaby to Mbeumo, 1 point gained. Amazing. And I did Watkins to Darwin. So, yeah, similar boat to you as well. I'm going on a cup run, says Bruno. Good luck. Wasn't the cup... Someone told me the other week that the cup starts soon in FPL, so I probably lost that already then. What's Martinelli's level now? I still think it's very high. He's just not getting the goals or assists in the Premier League, but I think it's really, really high. He's got a lot of potential, but I'd want to see a bit more end product. I think what separates Martinelli and Saka is the decision making and the IQ. Do you know? Do you know that Arsenal start with fire, but Man City end up with the? I mean, let's wait and see. I think Man City are still going to be the favourites to win it, of course. Was really annoyed this week of UCL Fantasy. Had Bellingham in mind for captain switch, but I went to Kane last minute after work. Yeah. I actually was thinking about Saka more than Bellingham, but yeah, both of them would have been much better than Harry Kane in the end. When does Dubravka go up in price? I don't think it'll go up in price tonight. It's a possibility, but I'd probably say tomorrow. So basically from the Monday into the Tuesday morning. Best Wolves defender to replace Cash. Overall, it is 8 Nuri. So if we actually check with 8 Nuri, he is back on the 9th of December. So that would be for Game Week 16, potentially, by the way, of course. But yeah, 8 Nuri, once he returns, is my favourite of a bad bunch. Then you're probably looking at Dawson or Kilman, but yeah, 8 Nuri is my favourite. Is there any point in holding Martinelli? I'd personally sell him. Like I said, I think in Mbumo, Palmer, Saka, Son, Bowen, Kudus, they're all probably better FPL options. This week, just joking though, says Bruno. Fair enough, yeah. I get what you mean. Should I sell Martinelli for Saka? Yes, I would. Do you think Martinelli owners are a bit unlucky? Well, I think Martinelli owners are unlucky in general. He hit the post the other day, yesterday, so I also think his overall performances deserve more in terms of goal contributions, but yeah, I think his final product, his end product, isn't quite there yet. Year before last, I got to the Brighton Cup final in FPL. Damn. Oh yeah, I mean, you probably would have wished you won it, but it's just the cup at the end of the day, I guess. That's really impressive. Don't think we'll get Pope news due to them playing on Thursday. Yeah, I highly doubt we will, but my assumption would be that Dubravka will be a settled, nailed-on starter there for Newcastle. Has Saka reached his peak of his potential? I don't really think so, because I think his overall performances haven't been his absolute best. I think he was actually playing better at the beginning of last season compared to now, but he's getting more goals and assists. So now, with his age in mind, I think he can still improve even further. Do I think he can improve much more? Maybe not, but who knows? 70 points to Game Week 14. Yeah, that's definitely decent, mate. I wish I captained Watkins instead of Salah. To be fair, though, who would have captained Watkins there? Shouldn't Trent have gotten an assist for Leno's own goal? Oh, he didn't get it at all then? Yeah, well, yeah, he should have, because without his shot, there would have been no goal in the first place. Yeah, of course, but if it's Martinelli to Saka, it shouldn't be too bad, I guess. I mean, maybe Luton does favour Martinelli more than Saka. That is maybe something to think about. But ultimately, you would sell Martinelli to Saka at some stage. Apparently, Bayern aren't rotating at all against Man United, so Kane might be the best captaincy option. Oh yeah, I'd still look to maybe captain him, but there is still going to be an inevitable drop-off in terms of desire, because they're already finished first. There's nothing to play for, but yeah, I think Bayern will still remain unbeaten after match day 6. I got 68 points this week. Good stuff, Eduardinho. What a game at Anfield. I'm telling you, Anfield is its own entity, because Liverpool were pretty much down and out. Fulham were going to get a historic win. Then you got 2 goals in a minute out of nowhere. Similar to last season against Spurs. It's just so difficult to beat Liverpool there. Any players who are close to suspension on 4 yellows? I believe Matty Cash, Raheem Sterling. There is a long list. I'll try to cover all of them in future streams too. Rodri is now suspended for the Aston Villa game. That's a massive loss. Have you seen how lazy Rashford is in yesterday's game? He's been like that all season, though, and even last season, but the goals covered it up. FPL did give it to him, says Oasis. Yeah, I thought he did get the assist, but the goal was removed. As a Martinelli owner, I'm giving him one more opportunity. Yeah, I think that's fine. It makes complete sense, but after Luton, I'd probably sell. What's your thoughts on price changes? Do you like? Is it the best formula at the moment? Just don't like the fact that I can't sell and buy again with the loss. I think it's fine. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, I haven't put too much thought into it myself, to be fair. But I'm okay with it. Let me put it that way. I'm kind of indifferent about the whole situation. I'm also not really one to chase price rises too much. If possible, I'll just wait until as late as possible. I did it this week when I made my transfers, and that's why I was priced out of buying Trippier and Mbumo for example, because I waited until the very end. But that would be my take on it, and it's not really anything detailed, to be fair, but I'll try to put more thought into it and give you a better answer in the next stream. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the stream or found it useful, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let's try to get this stream to over 150 likes and to push on towards 22k and beyond. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the links in the description below for the Patreon, Championships Discord server, and the FPL League. There's also one for Draft Time, which I'd highly recommend. I showed it earlier in the stream, and I probably will in the team selection as well. The plan now is to record a team selection for Gameweek 15, talk about one transfer that I could make heading into the Tuesday deadline, and that will be released tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, there'll be the deadline stream, and then the usual content for Gameweek 16 for FPL, and also for Matchday 6 of UCL Fantasy. If you've got any more comments, be sure to leave it in the Discord server, the comment section of this video, or also on Twitter and Instagram. I appreciate all your support. I wish you all the best of luck for Gameweek 15 and the rest of the season, and I'll see you next time.